My name is Linda Morrison, and for most of my life, I believed that loving your child meant sacrificing everything without keeping score. I became a mother at 22, long before I had money, stability, or any idea what I was doing. When my husband left, it was just me and my daughter, Emily, against the world. I worked double shifts, skipped vacations, wore the same clothes year after year, and told myself that as long as Emily never felt unwanted or unloved, it would all be worth it. I watched her grow into a bright, ambitious young woman, and every achievement felt like proof that the sacrifices had mattered. That belief stayed with me until the day I found out my daughter was getting married, and I was not invited. No phone call, no awkward conversation, no explanation. I did not hear it from her. I heard it from a neighbor who casually congratulated me and asked if I was excited for the big day. I laughed at first, assuming there had been some misunderstanding, but the confusion on her face told me everything before she even finished her sentence. That night, I searched Emily's social media and saw engagement photos, venue tours, dress fittings, and smiling faces I barely recognized. Everyone seemed to know about the wedding except me. I waited for days, convincing myself she would call, that she was overwhelmed, that there was a reasonable explanation. Instead, 3 weeks later, I received an email. Not an invitation. Not an apology. A bill. $70,000. Itemized. Wedding reception. Luxury venue. Designer dress. Honeymoon resort. At the bottom, a short message. Mom, this is what I need you to cover. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking, realizing that in my daughter's eyes, I was no longer her mother. I was a financial obligation. Before I go on, let me ask you this. If your own child did not invite you to their wedding, but still expected you to pay for everything, what would you do? Would you pay anyway? Or would you finally say no? I did not reply to the email that night. I sat alone in my small apartment, listening to the familiar sounds of a life I had built around my daughter, wondering how I had become invisible so easily. The next morning, I called Emily. She answered like everything was normal. When I told her I had received the email, she sounded relieved, not embarrassed. I asked her why I was not invited, and after a long pause, she said something that cut deeper than the bill itself. She told me the wedding was very formal, that Daniel's family was particular, and that she did not want things to be awkward. Awkward, she said, as if my presence was a social inconvenience. When I asked her what exactly would be awkward, she admitted that Daniel's family came from a different world, one where appearances mattered, and she did not want people asking questions about me, my job, or my lifestyle. I realized then that she was ashamed, not of the money I did not have, but of the life I had lived to give her everything. When I pointed out that she still wanted my money, she told me that had nothing to do with it, that parents help pay for weddings, and that I had always said I would do anything for her. Hearing my own words used against me felt like betrayal layered on top of humiliation. A few days later, Daniel's mother, Patricia, called me to confirm I had received the invoice. When I asked her directly why I was not invited to my own daughter's wedding, she told me they wanted the event to reflect a certain standard. That word echoed in my head long after the call ended. Standard. One I apparently did not meet. In that moment, the pain shifted into something sharper. Anger. And beneath that anger, clarity. I began to understand that this was not a misunderstanding. It was a decision. A decision to erase me while still benefiting from everything I had given. For 2 nights, I barely slept, replaying every conversation until the truth became impossible to ignore. They had already decided I would pay, not because I could afford it, but because I always had said yes before. When Emily called again and demanded an answer, I asked her one final time why I was excluded. This time, she did not soften the truth. She told me I did not fit the image she was trying to present to Daniel's family, that she did not want to feel embarrassed on her wedding day. Hearing my own child say that broke something inside me, but it also forced me to stand up in a way I never had before. When she asked if I was paying or not, I said no. The word felt terrifying and powerful all at once. She screamed that I was ruining everything, that I was selfish, that I was making her life difficult. I told her calmly that I would not pay $70,000 for a wedding I was not welcome at. She hung up on me. The next day, Patricia sent a short message saying they would proceed without my involvement. as if I had ever been involved to begin with. Later, I found out they were telling people I refused to help out of jealousy and bitterness. Instead of defending myself, I sent one final message to everyone involved. I explained that I was excluded because I was considered embarrassing, but expected to pay anyway, and that I would not fund an event where my presence was treated as a liability. I wished them well and ended it there. When I hit send, my hands trembled, but for the first time, I felt something close to peace. For the first time, I chose my dignity over my fear of losing my child. The wedding happened without me. I did not see the dress, the venue, or the vows. I did not stand in the crowd pretending my heart was not breaking. Instead, on that day, I woke up early, made myself coffee, and sat by the window of my small apartment, listening to the quiet. For the first time in weeks, there was no phone call demanding an answer, no email reminding me of a deadline, no voice telling me what I owed. The silence felt strange at first, almost frightening, because I had spent so many years responding to everyone else's needs that I had forgotten what it felt like when no one was asking me for anything. I imagined Emily walking down the aisle, surrounded by people who fit the image she had chosen, people who looked right in the photos and blended seamlessly into the world she wanted so badly to belong to. I wondered if, for even a moment, she noticed the empty space where her mother should have been. I wondered if she missed me at all. That night, photos appeared online. Smiling faces, champagne glasses raised, comments praising the elegance of the celebration. I scrolled past them slowly, feeling a familiar ache, but something had changed. The ache was no longer mixed with shame. It was clean. Honest. I had not done anything wrong. Weeks later, Emily called me. Her voice sounded different. Quieter. Less certain. She told me the wedding was beautiful but exhausting, that Daniel's parents had been controlling, critical, and never satisfied. She said the honeymoon had been nice, but something felt off. Then she asked very carefully why I had not tried harder to make things right. I listened without interrupting. When she finished, I told her the truth. I told her that I loved her, but love did not mean accepting humiliation. I told her that I would always be her mother, but I would never again allow myself to be treated like something that needed to be hidden. She cried. Not the angry tears from before, but the confused tears of someone realizing that choices have consequences. We are still finding our way back to each other. It is not easy. It may never be the same. But I am no longer afraid of that. Because what I learned through all of this is something I wish I had understood years ago. Loving your child does not mean disappearing. Sacrifice does not require silence. And boundaries are not punishments. They are self-respect. If you are listening to this and you have ever felt used, dismissed, or reduced to what you can provide instead of who you are, I want you to hear this clearly. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to choose dignity. And sometimes, the most powerful love you can offer is the courage to stop being taken for granted. If this story resonated with you, tell me in the comments what you would have done in my place. Would you have paid the bill anyway, or drawn the line where I did? Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Thank you for listening, and remember, your worth is not measured by what you give, but by who you are.